Okay, so let's do the X factor, given this new problem. Tell me what to do. Put the 10 at the top, and how did we get 10? 10 times 1. And what goes at the bottom? 7. And now what do we do? What adds to 7 and multiply to 10? Good. 2 and 5. Positive or negative? Positive. Do we keep going and divide by 1, or are we done?
Done.
We're done. How do we find the zeros?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Good. And what do we do with those two factors?
You subtract them.
Okay. Yes, we do. We will subtract because they're plus signs, and we will do the opposite. But what has to happen before we can do the opposite? Set them equal to 0. So now what do we do? X plus 2 equals 0. X plus 5 equals 0. And we will do the opposite. Good job, first period. So x equals negative 2. X equals negative 5. So who can tell me what you call these? What do we call them? X-intercepts. I heard that. I heard roots. Roots. What else we call them? Solutions. Zeros. Okay. So now let's use the quadratic formula and get those same two answers. Okay, what's the formula again? X equals negative plus or minus the of. Good. 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 All. Good job. I know, once you sing it and practice it, it's like a really miss. Every time I say this, I'm going to hear that. Yes, that was the purpose. And if that's happening to you, then that's awesome. Okay, so now let's plug in the numbers. What goes where? What have I not done?
Oh, but the A and C.
Yeah, I need to know A, B, and C. So what's A?
Positive 1.
Positive 1. It's the first number, the first coefficient, the number in front of x squared. A is the first letter in the alphabet. Okay, what's B?
7.
What's C?
10.
Alrighty. You ready?
Yeah.
So x equals, what do I write? Negative.
1.
Now you know what? Don't put the parentheses because 7 is not negative. Let's make a trend. Let's say we will put the parentheses around B when it's negative. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's not negative, so I'm not going to put it. So how many negatives do I have here? 1 or 2?
1.
1. So is this negative 7 or positive 7?
Negative.
This becomes negative 7. When would it become a positive 7? When I would have a negative here with the 7 in parentheses. Plus or minus. How many people got confused when I said that? You don't know what I mean. About the negative and the negative. Okay. So moving on. Square root of 7 squared. And why didn't I put 7 in parentheses? Okay. It's not negative. Minus 4 times. Times. Are you sure? Times 1 times 2? Oh, you said 10. I was like, where did 2 come from?
Oh, you wrote it down.
Okay. Now what? All over. I heard it. 2 times A. You ready? Okay. So x equals negative 7 plus or minus. What do I write first under here?
14.
No, that's not 14.
Oh, 49.
It's 49. Minus 40. How did I know to write minus 40?
Because you did just multiply it.
Did I do 4 times 1 times 10 and bring down the minus sign?
No.
Or did I do negative 4 times a positive 1 times a positive 10 gave me negative 40, so I wrote
Minus.
minus 40. That's correct. Do not just bring that sign down, because sometimes it changes. I'm sorry?
All over 2.
Yes, it would change if C was negative or if the 1 was negative. Okay, so now let's put it over 2. You ready? Okay, so x equals, tell me what to write. Negative 7 plus or minus. What kind of 9? It is positive 9, but it's not just 9.
What 9 squared?
Square root of 9.
Oh.
Because 49 minus 40 is,
Oh, 9.
and we have to keep the square root over it because we haven't taken the square root of the inside. All over 2 equals, you ready? What's next? Okay, someone says they're confused. Where are you confused at?
Where did the 9 come from?
Okay, what is 49 minus 40?
Oh.
You got it? Okay, so this is negative 7 plus or minus. What is the square root of 9? Anybody know?
3.
Good job, 3. Because 3 times 3 will give us, okay, so that's, do you keep the square root on it?
No.
No. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so negative 7 plus 3, and then negative 7.
Minus.
Okay, now be careful. Some of you may need to use your calculator. Negative 7 plus 3, that is not 10.
4 to 4.
And it's not positive 4.
Negative 4.
It's negative 4 over 2, which gives you negative 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, negative 7 minus 3, that's not positive 4, that's not negative 4.
It's negative.
That's negative 10. You have to draw 7 negatives, draw 3 more negatives, you have 10 negatives in all. That's negative 10. And negative 10 divided by 2 is
5.
negative 5. So you may have to have the calculator help you a little bit on that part if you can't do it by hand. Now let's compare the answers. You ready? Do they match?
Yeah.
Here and here. Did we get the same answer?
Yes.
Okay. And let's use the calculator real quick and graph it and see if it crosses at negative 2 and negative 5. So I'm already on the graphing screen, and this is just for the video purpose, for those watching the video to see it. X squared plus 7x plus 10. Graph it. And that is negative 1, negative 2. So it crosses at negative 2. Negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. It crosses at negative 2 and negative 5. So that's what you call x-intercepts. Okay?